Hi, this is Coach Brian with the Y. Thank you for your time. Let's do a quick review. What we talked about last was that situations where there aren't any pressure, we're still going to line up. We're going to sprint to our positions from whatever happened on that made basket or that transition. We're going to sprint to our position. As the big guys, we're looking back to see if they need our help. The inbounder is not screaming pressure because he sees nobody in our backcourt. So we all kind of know there's no pressure on us to get the ball in. We said that the inbounder would send it to the point guard. We said each of the bigs would come and line up in some sort of stack, either side by side or up and down. I kind of like up and down better. That the inbounder would go to the corner to the same side as where he advanced the ball, and the opposite guard would come right here. What we're trying to do is we're preparing for a half-court trap or half-court pressure, and in doing so we want to be as wide as possible to stretch the defense out as widely as possible. Obviously, we have to be aware that we're really close to a half-court trap, and if we step over this line, there is some implications to it. But let's talk about it. Let's talk what we do know. We know that they want us to take the ball over half court and they want to press us one way or the other. So from the point guard perspective, you need to be reading the situation well before you get to half court. Last season we had situations where we would bring the ball up, there'd be two guys right here, and we'd make a decision right there in front of them. We're not going to win in that situation. The point guard is there for a reason. He's the quarterback of our offense. And as soon as he knows there's no pressure, he sees that they aren't set up in a zone, he sees two guys up here, he automatically is thinking, all right, game on. We've got plays for this. So let's assume they're set up in a 2-2-1. What else do we know? We know they want to drive us into a trapping zone, but we also know there are big, huge holes. There are the soft parts of the 2-2-1. So we're going to try to expose those in certain situations. So let's talk about, pick plays. The point guard's dribbling, getting a little closer, getting a little closer. He's got one of a couple pick plays. One that I always like is he's going to call whoever is not Heath in this big situation. Maybe it's Robert, maybe it's Brian, maybe it's Chris. And if he says, Chris has got to pick one of these two guards. It doesn't matter which one it is, but we've got to set a pick. In that situation, we're advancing that ball slightly. We've got to time it and come very tight off of Chris's backside around the pick. Chris is going to start rolling after that pick. Whoever's on the ball side is taking an elongated kind of approach towards the basket. And most importantly is Heath is coming down. Heath, you should remember, this is the most important piece. Whenever your partner is getting called for a pick, you've got to go to the ball side. And here is the play every time. Get it to Heath. So we leverage this pick. We keep it tight. We keep this guy in the traffic. And as soon as we come around the corner, before we get to the next guy who's going to be approaching us, we're either dropping it off to our guard, but hopefully we're getting it off to Heath. We're going to say in this situation, the backside guard is just going to be trailing. Ideally, I like when he's cutting towards the free throw line. But we're going to say always, just to keep it simple, that the backside guard is going to trail. Just in case anything happens, we've got a fallback position there. So, to be clear, we've got to recognize, we knew from get-go there was no pressure. We recognize the 2-2-1. In the last situation, we called a pick from one of our big guys. We know that we want to get the ball quickly to Heath down here. That is the goal of this play. The other pick play that we can run is we're just going to use names. So if Chris is down here with Heath, we're saying Chris. If it's Robert, and he's setting the pick to either side. Make sure it's to the outside. I hope I don't have to tell you that, but make sure the pick is to the outside. So the other option is that we could call one of our guards to come set a pick. So in this situation, let's say this is Brian, is going to come set a pick. The point guard is called for Brian, by the way. So the point guard said, Brian, Brian, Brian. He came set a pick. The point guard's rolling this way. Brian's going to start rolling this way. The backside guard is trailing. So if we get in any trouble whatsoever, we've got someone coming right up behind your back. That's a nice, soft place to land. These guys have got to talk. I'd rather see Heath go to the ball side in every situation. So Heath, that's going to require a lot of discipline out of you. Be watching the ball, which side it goes. The ball's coming this way, so whichever one of these guys is Heath is coming down here. Again, point guards, Daniel, Riddy, Brian, Robert, whoever. Understand your goal is not to be a superhero here. Your goal is to call the play, call it well before you get into the teeth of the defense, break around the pick, and we're trying to lob it into the soft side of the zone. We're not trying to be heroes. We're trying to get the ball to the easiest part. If we do that successfully, you'll see this 2-2-1 go away. So we've got the 2-2-1 set up. We've got our two big men right here. We know that if we get a pick from the big man, it's going to be just one guy, and it's going to be Heath rolling down. If we're calling a pick from one of the other guys, it's going to be both big men splitting with Heath always to the big side. And really, that is the key parts of breaking this 2-2-1 trap. Well, one other situation we could do very easily, and this is important across all of these for the guards. The guards need to have integrity. What I mean by that is if we start across the half-court line, and we see them advancing, getting a lot of pressure, maybe even past the half court. So we start off, and this is what the 2-2-1 looks like, and all of a sudden these guys come up here, which would be kind of silly because we want them to come across the line. Point is the guards have to keep a similar relationship. We don't ever want a situation where the trapper's right there and our guard is right here, because that's just an easy steal. So again, guards understand when you're out at the sidelines, you want to be in a position that is ahead of those trapping defenders. So we said that we could call for a pick here or a pick here. If we call for the pick here, this guy's going to trail in case we get in trouble. These guys are going to split. So we talked about those options. The other situation is this doesn't require saying anything. Again, the point guard is assessing the situation. He's going to make a decision well before he gets in the teeth of the defense. Why couldn't he just make a quick pass out here? He's going to then look for a give and go. Or he's advancing the ball because both big guys are coming down here. What did we say the ultimate goal was? We could kick the ball to him quickly. He advances it and drops it into the big guy right there. Again, the backside guard, this is a great one where he's always trailing. So if we have any problem right in here, we've got someone to dump the ball off to. It's just a safety valve. So again, I'll run through it quickly and we'll be done with this video series. A few things can happen. We have two options or three options to call a pick from. We could call the guy by name. Let's say this is Riddy, and he could set a pick. And the point guard's going to fly around. We could call whoever the non-Heath is big guy. So let's say it's Robert. He can pick either side and is going to set up a pick to the outside. At this point, the point guard's going to roll. The ball side guard's flying down. Heath is going to the ball side, and he's trailing. So those are two of the picks. And the last thing we said was that we could do a quick pass out to our outlet guards. In this situation, again, Heath and the other big guy, you've got to be paying attention. If he passes the ball quickly over here, he is quickly cutting. He's advancing. Heath's going to come to the ball side. Opposite big to the other side. This guy's going to trail. And this guy's looking for, could be off the point guard, but we're really looking to dribble a few steps, and lob the ball down here. Quick repeat to the basket. Everybody advances to the basket, and an easy 2 points. So that's really how we're going to approach attacking the 2-2-1 trap. Either a pick from one of the big guys, a pick from one of the guards, or a quick pass to the guard, always looking for the deep outlet to where the open soft spot of the zone is. That's it. Thank you very much.